What's up, guys? Bang, bang. It is lunch money time. Well, Wall Street trying to get rich for us. Let's just trying to get our lunch money right. I'm here with the beautiful, intelligent Polina Marinova.
Guys, he hasn't commented on these tigers.
Because if you ignore it, it ain't real. BlockFi is now the sponsor of Lunch Money. Go and get a BlockFi account, blockfi.com/pomp. You can earn up to 8.6% APY in an interest-bearing account. You can sign up for the waitlist for their Bitcoin rewards credit card. Go get an account, blockfi.com/pomp.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, nice. What's going on?
Well, first I have an announcement. Go to my YouTube page. I don't know, what is it? I think if you just search my name, Pompliano Marinova Pompliano, it'll come up. Or go to theprofile.substack.com for a great interview with Noah Galloway.
Come on.
That's all. All right, let's start. Oh, God. Hold on a second.
She's not ready. See? She's not ready. That's fine.
Hold on.
I'll actually cover for her at the moment and just say that
restaurants. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the conversation with Noah Galloway is really cool. He was in Iraq. He got his left arm and left leg blown off. He came back. He ended up being on the, Dancing with the Stars. He was on the cover of Men's Fitness. Dude is a savage, and he just gets it. So go listen. It's a great conversation.
Cool. Thank you.
Did I buy you enough time?
Thank you. Yes. So 10,000 restaurants are slated to close in the next 3 weeks due to the pandemic.
Why the next 3 weeks?
That's just about 17% of America's restaurants have already permanently closed this year, with thousands more on the brink, according to the National Restaurant Association. And the NRA, the National Restaurant Association, is publicly pleading with Congress to pass new stimulus to help the industry that's been damaged. But I honestly, to be totally honest, have no idea how these restaurants have continued on. How have the ones who have survived? Where is the money coming from?
Well, they might have access to capital. They may have, I don't know, run a good business and saved money over time.
I think it's a really thin margin business to begin with.
Of course, all that is true, of course. But you know what fixes the problem for restaurants? Open them up. Have the businesses open.
They won't do that.
I know, because it's science that if you sit outside, that you'll increase the likelihood that you get the virus. Come on. At the end of the day, what fixes the economic problems is open the economy. Protect the people who are most vulnerable. The older you are, the pre-existing conditions, or if you're just scared, sit inside. We'll help you get those people aid and open up the economy and get back to life. Let's go. All right, next.
SpaceX is getting $885 million, I believe, from the FCC, so that its Starlink satellite service could be a game changer for places where laying fiber isn't an option. So providing Wi-Fi. And
I should write up a whole piece about this. So when I was at Facebook, we started something called internet.org. I literally joined that team for 2 days, and they were like, all right, we're gonna disband this part of the team. And I was like, okay, so I gotta go do something else. But they have internet.org. Google had their Project Loon. There's a bunch of these things. So it's like, can we fly hot air balloons and beam the internet down? Could we do it via drones, lasers, all kinds of crazy ideas? SpaceX seems to be the one who has made the most progress with Starlink. And if they end up making this work,
they use satellites, right?
Yeah, they put satellites in orbiting around the Earth. If they make this work, this could be one of the most valuable companies in the world as a spin out. Starlink will spin out of SpaceX. So it's going to be pretty crazy to watch this all play out. But I think this is going to end up being a pretty special company. So
that's really cool.
Worth watching.
Okay, Peloton shares are falling as Apple announces a cheaper rival fitness service that launches December 14th. It's called Fitness Plus, a digital fitness subscription service at $9.99 a month, and it wants to compete.
Yeah.
But
I think that Peloton's NPS, I saw people tweeting about this yesterday, is like 94.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is like a religion.
Yeah.
It's literally equivalent to the NPS of a religion.
And also, I get what Apple's trying to do, but Apple doesn't have a bike, so it's going to rely on your Apple Watch, which I feel like you can kind of already do. You can sync your watch to things. I don't see the innovation, sorry.
I think that Apple will turn this into a profitable business, but I don't think that it will have the impact on Peloton that everyone thinks.
You don't think so?
No.
It's. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, but it's cheaper. It's $9.99 compared to $12.99.
How much does Netflix cost? Most of the people watching this don't know.
I think it increased to like, yeah.
It did increase. I don't know how much it is. Whether it was $9.99, $12.99, or $15.99, I would still pay.
You're not good with your finances, but you would.
No,
yeah.
It's because I'm price elastic, right? Meaning that if they made it $19.99, it's something that I value, that I use all the time. So I'd be willing to.
I would think about Netflix if it was $19.99 a month.
You would get rid of your Netflix? Didn't think so. Okay, next.
Okay, well, what are we on? Oh my God, guys.
Polina is very disjointed today,
Sorry,
fellas
hold on.
and ladies.
Uber is selling its self-driving car business to Aurora. I have a really hard time saying that word.
Okay.
Aurora, oh my God, if there weren't a million ads on this site. So Aurora is a 5-year, hold on. It develops self-driving vehicles, but it was marred by litigation and a fatal crash. But Aurora is pretty well known. Uber will take a 26% stake in Aurora and invest $400 million in the startup. Amazon's one investor. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, look, we know that the automated taxis are coming. Like this idea that you won't own the car, there will literally just be automated cars driving around your city, and you'll just call one and you'll jump in and it'll go. Like it's like the Jetsons, basically. Like that is going to happen.
So,
it's just a matter of when it happens and who's going to be the players that make it occur. But we need to get self-driving car technology, especially in urban areas, drastically increased in efficacy.
So I remember being at a Fortune conference called Brainstorm Tech a few years ago, and Dara, who's the current CEO of Uber, was there. He was talking about how that is the future of Uber. And apparently, Uber used to believe that developing self-driving cars was essential for it to survive, given that self-driving cars might make human-driven vehicles expensive and irrelevant. And here's what Uber founder Travis Kalanick said in a 2014 interview. If Uber doesn't go there, it's not going to exist either way. That's just the way of the world. That's the way of technology and progress. Unfortunately, we all have to find ways to change with the world. So if it doesn't get there, do you think Uber will be extinct?
No. Uber's not going anywhere.
Why? They'll just adapt to the self-driving?
No. Uber is the category-defining company. They're not going anywhere.
Okay.
That's how technology works.
Howard Stern has extended...
How much are you getting paid?
So the terms of the deal were not disclosed, but it's rumored $100 million per year.
Woo! My guy Howard Stern's been talking about sex for 2 decades, and he's gotten billions of dollars.
He's extending his long-running SiriusXM radio deal for 5 more years. That's another $500 million, if that's true.
Yeah, he's been getting paid between $80 and $100 million a year since like the beginning of the 2000s.
Since the beginning of time.
No, I mean, this guy's been getting paid an ungodly amount of money forever.
He said, 15 years ago, I joined SiriusXM, a fledgling group of broadcasters. I had been in a toxic relationship with terrestrial radio, and no matter how well I treated the medium, no matter how successful I made them, they abused me. Going to SiriusXM liberated me. So 15 years ago, SiriusXM was like the hot new thing, right?
Yeah. He came over there. I've seen estimations that like 20 to 30% of Sirius's subscribers would leave if Howard Stern left.
What? Where would they go?
I mean, obviously these are people who are like making pretty absurd things because they also get pre-installed on cars and all that kind of stuff. But it is very clear that Howard Stern has had a massive impact on that business. That's why they're paying him $100 million a year.
But can we just talk about for 1 second the influence that someone like that can make for a company like Sirius, right? So, I mean, Joe Rogan moving to Spotify. Like, I think these big names, it's kind of a stamp of approval. Like, this is going to be around for a long time, and I'm willing to make a bet on something smaller.
But like Spotify's like a multi-billion-dollar company. Sirius was big.
I know, but it wasn't. It's still kind of like the.
What I want to know is, did Howard Stern get stock? At any point, did he get stock, or are they just paying him in cash? Who knows?
I'm sure.
All right, next.
It's Ask Lunch Money time. Guys.
Use hashtag AskLM in the comments. Okay, what's the first question?
John, I'd love to hear how you guys feel about 401ks and if you use them. I'm 27 and the plan is to retire early. I live below my means and invest everything else. Good for you, John. I don't like the idea of the 401k funds not being available until my 60s. Ooh.
Yeah.
So I have a 401k, but also my role with money is very, 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 very conservative, whereas his is the opposite of that.
Basically, we going all on black. Let's see what happens. Now, the way that I think about all retirement plans is I actually think of them as tax plans. So your 401k really just serves as a way to decrease your income, your taxable income. And so you should max it out at all times, in my opinion. On top of that, depending on the plan that you're looking at, if it's something that has your employer participating, there is usually free money involved. Matching. So they may match, they may do all that kind of stuff. And so the way that I normally think about these things is if you want, there is a high degree of advantage in terms of getting income into a retirement all around a kind of tax deferral type model or tax-free model. And then what happens is the beauty of it once it's in the tax account, the retirement account, is that you don't get taxed as it grows. And so there's a huge advantage. If you can compound money without it being taxed, obviously that can be attractive as well.
Surendra
But you can't get it till you're 60 or 62 or whatever it is. But the way that I kind of think about that is like you don't need the money.
It's a percentage.
It's a percentage of your portfolio.
Surendra asks, Pomp, what do you think is going to happen with the giant banks like JP Morgan, Goldman, and all the banks in general against Bitcoin and crypto world? Like, how do you think that's going to play out, especially if banks start using blockchain?
Yeah, they're just going to try to adopt this stuff. Like it is now a race. It is a global race to see if you're a central bank, which central banks adopt it first. If you're a traditional bank, who's the first to adopt it? If you're just an average Joe, who's the first to adopt it? Like there is a global race underway, and the banks are not going to sit by and just let this happen. There will be some that fight it and end up getting disrupted, but there will be some that embrace it and end up being, kind of gaining the advantage of it. But I tend to think that this idea that like, crypto's just going to happen and the banks are going to be like, I didn't see that coming, is very unlikely.
And it's really funny because we know a lot of people who work at traditional banks who are very long Bitcoin.
Yeah, of course. Well, Bitcoin and everything else. Like they're all paying attention. Literally, there's people who work at some of the biggest banks in the world who will like text me when Bitcoin's price goes up.
Crazy usernames on Twitter.
It's nuts, right? But like, and they're not just young people, right? I'm talking about like people who are in positions of influence and power at some of these places, that they're all about Bitcoin. They literally are sitting there watching the charts. I'm like, what are you doing all day at work? They're like, I watch Bitcoin's chart. And it's just like, okay. So you got to remember that there's humans that make up these organizations, and they're just as excited about certain technologies as other humans. And I think that plays a big role into it too.
Totally. Awesome.
Is that it?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. I only had 6 hours of sleep. That's why I'm off my game today. Somebody woke me up.
Go watch Polina's video on YouTube. See ya.
Bang, bang. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Lunch Money as much as we did.
And don't forget, Lunch Money is now sponsored by BlockFi, so go check them out. There's a link in the description that you can click on. I'm an investor, a user, and a huge fan. What?
You're a bigger fan of BlockFi than you are of me?
BlockFi is my second favorite thing in the world behind Polina. They've got 3 products. They can give you a US dollar loan. You can earn up to 8.6% interest on an interest-bearing account, or you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies on their crypto exchange. I personally use the interest-bearing account. There's not very many places where you'll find up to 8.6% interest on a deposit in an interest-bearing account. Go do your own research. There's risk associated, but 8.6% is pretty compelling. So click on the link in the description. Say thanks to the folks at BlockFi. Subscribe to our channel. Like the video. Annoy Polina in the comments. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
And be kind to your friends.